Welcome to the KMG Fiduciary Partners Podcast. Here, we'll cover important topics on financial planning and asset management to help keep you informed and inspired for long-term success on your financial journey. Let's join the KMG team now for today's topic.
Welcome to the KMG Fiduciary Partners Podcast. My name is Rob Thompson, and I'm a CPA and wealth advisor here. Today, I've got Rob Becker, an analyst on our team, and Rob helps us on a multitude of fronts, but a really hot topic, an important topic that I get asked a lot, especially when somebody's starting to work with us is my account safe, right? Am I going to be the subject of fraud or the victim of fraud at some point? What are some things that we do as a firm to ensure that our clients' assets are protected?
One of the priority is making sure your money's safe and it doesn't get out of here without you knowing. So we always verify if we get a text message, a phone call from you to move money, an email, we always call back to verify, just no matter.
So just to be clear, somebody from another country can't call in and pose as one of our clients saying, hey, I need $50,000 to be wired to this account that we don't have on record, right? What types of things we have in place to make sure that does not happen?
The big one is calling face to face. I mean, you have to, if we call back on a phone number that you have and verify, that knocks out about 90% of the problem. As far as we're in the process now of making sure that all of the websites that you interact with KMG, you'll have to have two-factor authentication. That knocks out 99% of like phishing scams, so that they can't take your information, and that's probably the biggest thing we do.
Yeah. So things like eMoney, our financial planning software, the Black Diamond, which is synonymous with KMG app, right? So those things are kind of tied together. Obviously, those are read-only, but there's still information in there. They've got their client vault in both of those spots that may contain things with sensitive data like tax returns, right? So enabling that two-factor authentication allows us to at least put up some defense on making sure that somebody doesn't hack into those accounts and get a hold of information that they shouldn't have, right?
Oh yeah, yes, and part of it, most of it is the end user. I mean, you need to really protect you're responsible. Don't use the same passwords. That's a common thing. You have somebody use, like you said, the dog, and the year or the date, the birth dates of their children, but they use that password for every single account. So if somebody discovers that password, it could be a JCPenney charge card.
Yeah, it could be a treasure trove. They can get into all of maybe social media sites. It could be everything, right?
Yeah.
So, do you have like a password manager or anything like that you use? Is that something you found helpful?
So if you have the best thing out there right now, I think is the new. If you have one of the things is make sure all your devices are up to date. Whenever you see, should you update, always update. Don't put it off. Just do it all the time. Make sure you set any devices you have to auto update, phone, computer.
Interesting. I'm guilty of this. I don't update. I don't auto update, especially personal devices. So that's good to know.
So almost every update that comes out are security patches. They find some vulnerability that somebody's discovered, and they're fixing those on your phone, iOS, Android, whatever. One of the things nice on the latest iOS 18, I believe they have a really nice password app. It's not the pass keys anymore, so they actually.
Yeah, because I just did it and I couldn't figure out how to get into my phone. So it works.
Yeah,
it works.
Yeah, it does a nice job. Any biometrics you can enable, those are really. I mean, Face ID, all that. Those are the best because it's better than two-factor.
Interesting. Well, I think for us going forward, a large part of what we do is safeguard assets for our clients, right? There's a reason why we hold them at a custodian such as Fidelity or Schwab, and so they're not titled over in KMG's name, which means that you and I couldn't take our clients' assets and run off to Mexico, right?
Correct.
So there's always a layer of added protection there. Do you have anything else that you wanted to go through on the fraud front?
So one of the things, that's the other thing is the custodians, Fidelity in particular. They're very aggressive at fraud prevention, and they'll shut down an account immediately. I mean, they will, if they see a fraudulent activity, it's instant, and they'll open up a new account. They give you, they force you to have new passwords. They take away check writing. There's no way money can leave that account if they suspect. And if you call in, that's probably the number one thing too, is make sure if you suspect you're hacked, just change your passwords. Change every password you have.
Not just the password of that site.
If it's start off with the passwords that are common. If you know you're using, your son's name and the birth date, then make sure you change every one of those accounts that has that.
Interesting.
That's step one. Make sure anytime that there's multi-factor authentication available, always select that. It's a hassle sometimes, but
it's worth it. It's
really
not.
is.
It's much better than getting all of your money taken from
Yeah.
you, right? Awesome. That's great. That's, I think, plenty today. Fraud is not the most fun topic to talk about, I know, so thanks for coming. But at the end of the day, this is a very important and ever-changing environment we find ourselves in. So we're glad that we've got some redundancy in place to make sure that it's not just us, it's a few levels to get through and get a hold of somebody's money that doesn't belong to them.
Yeah, we're always watching. I mean, we monitor everything that goes
Yeah.
in and out, so I think we got a good handle on it.
Awesome. Well, thanks for tuning in. If you have any questions about further measures you can take to prevent whether it's fraud or just making sure that things like, all of your credit scores are accurate and up to date, reach out. That's, something we can obviously help you navigate, but we'll catch you next time.
And that is one thing before we leave, is that that's another thing. If you suspect you're hacked, call all 3 of the credit reporting bureaus, have your credit frozen. They can't get it, even if they have your social security number, all that stuff, they cannot take credit out unless if you've had those frozen. And it's easy to temporarily unfreeze. If you're gonna go buy a car or a house, you can ask whoever you're gonna buy that vehicle or what credit reporting agency they use.
Yep.
And you can just unfreeze it for the day or a week and go right back and leave it frozen. Everybody should have their credit frozen anyways.
Yeah,
Period.
I agree. Awesome, good stuff. If you have any questions about fraud or ways to either prevent or what we're doing to prevent fraud on behalf of our clients, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, we'll catch you next time. Thanks.
Thanks for joining us for this edition of the KMG Fiduciary Partners podcast. We invite you to catch the next episode in our series for real-world advice from the KMG team. Follow us on LinkedIn at KMG Fiduciary Partners, where we'll keep the conversation going.